Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is September 27, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 163 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mention in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources like USAS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first question comment from Edrisha Sanzai 184. Hello, thank you for your very detailed information. You're very welcome. Thank you for watching. Can you please tell me, do I have to bring marriage certificate of my parents to my interview while I'm the only applicant? And how can I bring my dad's tax returns while they say bring all the original documents that's submitted? Regards. Great question. Thank you very much for asking, Adri Shazanzai. So here's the thing. Whenever it comes to requested documents, NVC, they do send you an email. Whenever they schedule an interview, they do send you the email with the list of the documents. And yes, some of the documents, they ask for the originals. Tax returns, you really don't have to worry about, originals, because tax returns is going to be a copy anyway. You print out a document and you take it. That's it. So you don't have to worry about that. With the marriage certificate, if they did request it in the email, then yes, absolutely. And most likely, yes, you would need to bring an original, stuff like this. I know it is weird, and honestly, because I've been through the process myself, and I petitioned for someone. I didn't come here on a family reunification, but I did petition for someone. And whenever I got the email with the interview being scheduled, they requested the beneficiary to bring the original birth certificate, my original birth certificate, which obviously I had the original birth certificate here, in the US. And the beneficiary was going in the embassy, outside of the United States. So it is really weird, but yes, I did have to mail my original birth certificate to the beneficiary, and then they took it with them and went for an interview. Of course, you can probably get away with, printing, making a copy of a document of, like, for example, a marriage certificate or a birth certificate, printing it, taking it to a notary, notarizing it, mailing it, the notary, but since you're mailing stuff anyway, and they are requesting the original, I would rather do exactly what they ask. So if they did ask you in the email for the marriage certificate, most likely asked for the original, then yes, your parents will have to mail it to you and you will have to take it for an interview. If they didn't ask for it, then I would just bring the copy in a separate folder. And in case if they do have any kind of questions about, your parents' marriage, you always have that marriage certificate that you can take out and say, hey, there you go. But for the most part, the documents that are requested on the interview are exactly the same documents that are requested during the documentary qualification process. And then obviously, like I said, whichever documents they need originals, they will say bring original birth certificate, bring original whatever. And if they did request it in the email, then yes, I would not take the chances of not having one of those documents for your interview, because you're risking. You waited long enough, and then you want to go for an interview and have everything they requested, so that there are no questions, no little things that they can, but you didn't have this, I'm sorry, we'll have to reschedule the interview or something like that. You definitely don't want that. Okay, so thank you very much. Great question. Let me post the answer right here, not the answer, but let you know that I've answered it, and move on to the next one from user KR7FX. Sorry, YouTube no longer shows me the names, it's showing me the handles now. So user says, how long do you have to wait for a green card when you go to America? Well, it's a very, very broad question. It really depends. Depends on how, family reunification. Well, once you have your immigrant visa, once you enter the United States, that immigrant visa automatically converts to a permanent resident, temporary permanent residence card, the I-551 stamp. So there you go, immediate. If you're applying for a green card based on employment, obviously you would have to be employed with the company for a certain amount of time and establish yourself. If you're applying for permanent residence based on asylum or refugee, that's 1 year after maintaining that granted asylum, granted refugee status. If you're applying for green card based on marriage, in that case, it can take probably 1.5 to 2 years for the whole I-130 family reunification process. And then you will get conditional residence if the marriage is under a certain amount of time. And then obviously you would have to remove the condition. So there's a lot of things. Okay, that's a very, very broad question. So if you do know which passage you're taking towards getting that permanent residence, let me know. But yes, there's a lot of ways to get it, and obviously all of the ways will have different amounts of time. Okay, moving further to Naveen Jean 76. Naveen, thank you so much for being publicly subscribed. I appreciate that. That's what this icon means. So Naveen says, I sponsored my sister and her family April 17, 2007. So as of July 2023, my final action F4, my case is in Pakistan. So how long will I have to wait for her to get an interview? All right, let's take a look. So we know your priority date, F4, Pakistan. Pakistan is all chargeability area. So let's take a look at the visa bulletin. We'll scroll down to the graph A, which is the final action dates, which shows the full length of how long you will be waiting before the immigrant visa becomes available. So F4 right now is actually on April 2007. 22nd April 2007, and you have sponsored your sister April 17, 2007. So you are right there. Your priority date is in the process of becoming current, literally, like as we speak, which is really, really good news, definitely. It does not mean that you will get your interview in a week or 2 weeks or as soon as it becomes current, because there is still some administrative processing. The U.S. Embassy now will have to schedule, and Pakistan, Islamabad, U.S. Embassy, as far as I can tell from comments on this channel, is pretty busy, so people are waiting a long time for the interviews to be scheduled. But here's the thing, here's what I would recommend to do. I would give it another few months so that, stay on top of the visa bulletin. Right now for you, it's very, very important to check the visa bulletin every month. And on this channel, I check it, I do the video. Every month new visa bulletin comes out. I do a video where I, talk about the movement and stuff like this. So once you see on the visa bulletin that it is now not in April, but May, June, a month, 2 months ahead of your priority date. So your priority date been current for like a couple months at least. Give a call to the U.S. Embassy. Alternatively, another thing you would be able to do is to submit an expedited request with the NVC and let them know that, hey, it's been 16 years that I have sponsored my sister. It's now honestly, whenever it comes to expedited request, I always say there's really two main requirements. It is that you have to be documentarily qualified, which in your situation, obviously you are, and your priority date has to be current, which you will be very soon. And obviously you have to have a good reason to request the expedited request, expedited processing request. But here's the thing, whenever it comes to family reunification cases, you personally been waiting for what? 16 years. 16 years you've been waiting for, to see your sister, for your sister to come here. That is an emergency situation. 16 years waiting, that is, important. So try that. And as far as calling the embassy, in a few months, give them a call, say, hey, my priority date is current. My sister is already documentarily qualified. I just wanted to see when the interview was scheduled for. Sometimes they do tell you, sometimes they don't tell you, but it is worth a shot. And you can find their information on usembassy.gov. And I'm going to scroll down to P, Pakistan. There you go. And there you go. This is their phone number right here, U.S. Embassy in Islamabad. So what I'm going to do is I am going to post this. And the reason why I'm telling you to give it a little bit more time, like 2-3 more months, just so that we can kind of cross out all that administrative processing, where now US Embassy, they see that, okay, this person right here is, their immigrant visa is now available, their priority is current, let's schedule their interview. They scheduled an interview, and then, all of that processing stuff, you call them and you ask them when the interview was scheduled for, so that you don't call them and they tell you it's too early, your priority just became current, we didn't have enough time to schedule your interview, or something like that. So you're basically avoiding that. So let me paste this right here, and once your sister does get the interview scheduled, make sure to come back to this channel and let everybody know, because it will be good to hear for everyone that things are moving along. All right, moving further to the next question comment from Sunrise GP3YM. Sunrise, thank you very much for another comment. I appreciate it. As you can see, Sunrise is one of the top commenters on this channel. So Sunrise says, hi, even you didn't answer my last 2 questions. But I wanted, Sunrise, I'm sorry. I do get a lot of questions. As you can see, I did not see your previous comments. So if you do have comments that need to be answered, make sure to post them more often, okay? If I didn't answer it, post it again, because like you see, I do get a lot of comments and I cannot get to all of them. But I want to tell you that my brother gets letter. He's documentarily qualified. Awesome, congratulations. But my mom, she is the petitioner for my brother, and she is at the hospital very sick. Pray for her to see my brother. Well, prayers going out for your mom. Hopefully she gets better, and your brother gets in time. And actually, you know what? So your brother, let's see, your brother is documentarily qualified. I don't remember if your brother is, priority date is current or not, but if it is, if your brother's priority date is current, then you can request, and I'm going to post this, I know it's not a question, but he can submit a expedited request. If he is documentarily qualified and if his priority date is current, he can submit an expedited request. And you see, in your situation, it's definitely, it's definitely time pressing, because your mother is sick and your brother can, he can't wait. The sooner the better. So Sunrise GP3AM, I definitely recommend looking into the how to submit that expedited request with NVC. I have a video on this channel how to do that. It's really simple. It's just an email that you're sending to NVC with your details, explaining the situation, and that's really it. That's really it. Okay, let's move on to the next question comment from Kukui 82729. Thank you so much for being publicly subscribed. Really appreciate that. So Kukui says, hello, good day. My wife got the interview letter by email 6 months after documentary qualified. Awesome. In April 4, 2023, Chargeability Area, Dominican Republic. Okay. The question is on the petition. Okay. I-130 will put my wife and add the 2 kids on the same I-130. Okay, now the interview letter, it only says my wife's name. So the kids are not on the interview list? Are the kids under 21? If they're under 21, then they are derivative beneficiary. They don't need to be on the interview list. Or did I have to make separate? Again, if the kids are under 21, you don't need to do the separate I-130 petition, because kids, they count still as children under, what is it, the CSPS, yeah, I'm not very good with abbreviations, the Child Status Protection Act, CSPA, by the whatever laws, regulations that they came up with for children. So basically, if you're under 21, that's it, you're considered child, and you go as a derivative beneficiary under the petition. As long as they were added on the main I-130 petition, that's it. You don't have to worry about that. Or did it so 130 for all applicants. Okay, my lawyer says everything's okay, but I don't think so. No, everything sounds okay. Please, any help will be grateful, as I've been a nervous wreck all day. Looking for information, as my lawyer is no help either. Thanks, I think we have to submit the 2 petitions for the kids under 21 years and just hope for the best. We are thinking just to put the 2 kids in petition, she can come over here before the 5 months of visa, then have to stay for 90 days. So she can be re-entered to the Dominican Republic for the kids. Into processing is done. Think that would be a problem if embassy sees the child listed on one of the papers but don't have the petition, as the kids are going to be with the grandparents for a little while. Okay, Kukui, here's one thing I'll tell you. Don't do random stuff, because you can make the situation worse. You definitely don't want to submit no duplicate I-130, and you don't need to submit a separate I-130 for children under 21 if they are coming as a derivative beneficiary of the beneficiary that is on the main beneficiary of the I-130. Now, what you can do, what I would recommend you do, is for your own peace of mind, so that you're not nervous about it, call the U.S. Embassy where your wife is going to go through the interview. Call the U.S. Embassy, let her call the embassy and tell them that, say, hey, I am documentarily qualified. I already have my interview scheduled for this and that. I have a question. I have 2 children under 21. They were also on the I-130 petition. Do I need to bring them with me to the interview? Because my interview notice didn't mention my children, so I wanted to find out. And then let them tell you. If they tell you yes, bring them, that's it, peace of mind. If they tell you no, that's fine, as long as they're on I-130, just bring their passports or whatever, because obviously you do need to get or maybe they will put the derivative beneficiary in her main I-551, whatever. Regardless, they will explain the process of how it works, and they will confirm to you that everything is good. And then, because the children are on the main I-130, they are derivative beneficiary, and they will be coming together with your wife. There is no situation where your wife will be leaving the children behind and then going back, and you'd have to. That would be really ridiculous. So it shouldn't be happening, and it's really not going to happen. If just make sure that you. Because they were already included on the main I-130, so you really don't need to worry about, filing the separate petition. But I'm gonna find the U.S. Embassy in Dominican Republic. So let's see if Congo, Dominican Republic. There you go. So I can give you that information, and she could just call and ask, and for the peace of mind. And yeah, so there you go, in Santo Domingo. This is their phone number. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this, post this, and I'll give you this link. All right, and let's move on to the next one from Billy Benjamin Ben J 621. Morning, can someone who has NTA apply for asylum? If yes, where should he mail the application, USCIS or court? Billy Benjamin, thank you very much for the question. It's a great question. So if you do have the NTA, yes, absolutely, you can apply for asylum. And the way you apply for asylum would be exactly the same way that you would apply for asylum, which is any other way. And whenever it comes to addresses, you do have to check the direct filing addresses for the asylum applications. But honestly, as of right now, the asylum application is available to file online. So I would just highly recommend filing that application online. So that's really it. Okay, so let me post the answer here, and we're gonna move on to the next one from B Lyrics 769. Hi, I am living in Pakistan. My green card expired before 2011. How can renewal? Wow, that's in 2011. So it's been 12 years since your green card has been expired now. Honestly, I don't think you can renew your green card at this point. It sounds like your permanent residence has been abandoned. So the only way for you to have green card is to basically restart the whole process from scratch. However, whichever avenue you decide to take in order to get the permanent residence. So I'm sorry about that, but I don't think you can, there is really no way for you to renew it. It's been way too long. Okay, moving further to the next one from Chernor Sadigo Berry 6289. Hello sir, thanks for the good work. My priority date is May 19, 2014. I got documentarily qualified on July 13, 2021. Family preference category 20 F1. All chargeability area. When my interview appointment is going to be scheduled. Thanks, God bless you. Chernor, I'll just say Chernor. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. So let's take a look at F1. So you are in May 2014. Let's see, we're looking at the visa bulletin. So F1 right now is on January 2015. So let me ask you a question. What is your, no, you say all chargeability area. So your all chargeability area and your priority date is in May 2014. So you're like 6 months ahead of the current priority date. So I'm thinking your interview has been scheduled quite a while ago, probably like 3, 4, 5 months ago, possibly. And you really are around the corner right now. So I would highly recommend in your situation, call the US Embassy where you will be going through your interview and tell them that, hey, you know, I am documentarily qualified. My priority date has been current for like 6 months now. When is my interview scheduled for? You know, be polite, be professional, but I think your interview is definitely already scheduled. You just don't know it yet. Here's the thing, you know, and I think that will be helpful for everyone who's watching, who's wondering about their interviews. You will not get the interview notice until 30 days of the actual interview date when it was scheduled. So for example, if your interview date has been scheduled for December 1st, 2023, you're not going to find out until November 1st, 2023, 30 days before. In some rare situations, they do schedule it 60 days before the interview date, but most of the times it is 30 days because you have to do the medical examination within the 30 days before the interview date. Okay, so that's why I say, you know, most likely, not most likely, in your situation, I think it is already scheduled. You just don't know it yet because you did not reach that 30 days before the interview. That's why they can't send you the notice. When you call the US Embassy, however, what they tell you over the phone is an unofficial. So if they look in their system and they're like, oh yeah, it's scheduled for December 1st, it's an unofficial. They did not officially announce you, you know, your appointment date. So that's why they can do it. They don't always do it, and in a lot of situations they will be like, we can't give you that information. Don't be upset if they, you know, don't fight them, don't argue with them over the phone. There's no point, you will make it worse. Just say, okay, thank you, I appreciate it, you know, that's it. But in some situations, you know, I've seen some cases where, you know, so you get some nice person on the phone and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll take a look. And then they look and then they tell you when the interview is. So that would be worth a shot. Again, I'm gonna post this thing right here that I responded, and I'm gonna give you the link for this website again. Just scroll down to the, you know, through the list of the countries, find your country, and, you know, give them a call, your local US Embassy. You might get the answer. Okay, moving further to the next question comment from Tanu688. Sir, I did my I-131 form, fill up and signature on 7/27/2023, and I filled part 3, date of intended departure, 9/30/2023. Is it okay? Please tell me. Tanu, yes, absolutely. So there is really no particular requirement or restrictions whenever it comes to putting that intended departure date. Obviously, it's no guarantee because it's only, like 2 months. It's only 2 months that you have submitted your, you know, before your intended departure date, you submitted your I-131. If we look at, you know, I might as well use that as an opportunity to demonstrate some navigation on USCIS. This is the official USCIS government website for US Citizenship and Immigration Services. You can find this link in the description below. So from here, I'm gonna go to tools and I wanna look up the processing times, case status online from here. And then here we go, USCIS processing times. And I wanna see how long the I-131 takes. I'm pretty sure it's longer than 2 months. Most of the times it is. For some reason, my Siri came up here. Let me turn it off. Form I-131, application for travel document. There we go. Category. Depending on which category, let's just do travel document, regular travel document, and then it's going to Nebraska, so it's just one. And yeah, as you can see, it's more than a year. So chances are you might not even get your travel document before your intended departure date. And it really depends on you. If that's the case, if you can wait and you're fine and you say, okay, well, if I cannot go in September, that's fine. I'll wait until I get my travel document and then I will go. That is fine. You can definitely do that. There are some situations where it is an emergency and you cannot wait that long, and what you can do is you can request that travel document mailed to US Embassy in the country where you're going. That's also an option. So you could pick it up in the US Embassy and you just leave the country without the travel document, then you get it abroad and then you come back with the travel document. It's obviously a lot riskier situation because, well, you're leaving the country without travel document. You're leaving the US without travel document. A little bit scary. So I would not recommend doing it unless it's an emergency situation, in which case, well, you have to do what you have to do. But this is what the processing time right now for the refugee and re-entry permit, refugee travel document and re-entry permit. As far as the advanced parole goes, there are different service centers which process them, but let's see, for Nebraska, it's a little bit faster, so 7 months. So if you are waiting for advanced parole, then obviously it is less and it's a little bit less, waiting. But as far as, filling out the application and then USCIS officer reviewing the application and seeing, oh, wait a second, for example, I'm just theoretical situation. They look at it and they're like, oh, they are intending to depart on September 30, 2023. And well, it's already, let's say, it's already September 27, 2023. In 3 days, we're not going to approve it in 3 days. They're not going to be able to depart in 3 days. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. They're not going to deny that application based on this time frame. They're not going to give you any trouble. Okay, so let me post the answer here and we're going to move on probably to our last question for today from Bradley. Actually, there we go. Before I forget, Bradley Allen4600. Hello, sir. Thank you for the good work you're doing. My adoptive LPR mother filed for me when I was 18 years old in 2018. My priority date is September 2018. Got an approval notice May 26, 2023, and I am still waiting for my welcome letter. I currently reside in Jamaica. Is there anything we can do? What is your opinion? So you were 18 in 2018. So now you're in F1 if you're unmarried. So you're now in F1 category. So if they look at they dragged it out. And now you aged out, and now you will be in the F1. It's really sad. But again, your adoptive mother is legal permanent resident, so I think you would have been F2A. So now it's F2A. Yeah, so it's not F1. Sorry, because she's not a U.S. citizen. So it's F2A. And regardless, it would have been F2A. Even makes sense that you were whether 18 or whether you are 21. Well, if you were 21, she wouldn't be able to apply for it. But anyway, so she would have been F2B. So now you are F2B, not F2A, because unfortunately aged out. So September 2018 is your priority date. Let's take a look at the visa bulletin and see what's going on for. So you're definitely not F2A now because you're now over 21 because you're now 23. So if we look at the F2B, it's September 2015 and you are September 2018. So roughly you have about 3 more years. Roughly about 3 more years before the availability of the immigrant visa. But as far as the welcome center for the NVC, let's see, January 2017 and you're September 2018. You're about September, October, November, December, January. You're about 4 months from your NVC portal opening up so that you can start your documentary qualification process. Okay, so let me post the answer here. And we're gonna move on to our last question for today from Gitanjali Persaud 4049. Hi, thank you for answering my question. I would like to know if an applicant can send an email to expedite their case. I am an F4 category, all chargeability area, and my priority date is 2007. Okay, I asked you about my brother's situation in the last video. He has stage 4 cancer. Yes, Gitanjali, I do remember that. So let's take a look. You're in all chargeability area, you're F4, priority date is 2007. So let's take a look. So all chargeability area F4, so 2007. So right now, as of October, September, this is October visa bulletin. So as of October visa bulletin, people with priority date back in April 2007, that's their immigrant visas are becoming available. So if your priority date is before April 2007, then yes, your brother can submit an expedited request for you because your priority date is current and you're documentarily qualified. If your priority date is after the April 2007, so like June 2007, for example, then you definitely do need to wait another few months, unfortunately, for your priority date to become current. So honestly, I hope that it is before April. You can let me know in the follow-up comment. And like I said, on this channel, I do have a video on how to submit that expedited request. It is pretty straightforward. It's really just an email. If it is April 2007, if your priority date is April 2007, then yes, definitely your brother needs to submit that expedited request, and hopefully it is processed fast. In most of the cases, they do respond to these expedited requests pretty quickly, and it really does help in most situations with scheduling of the interview. That's really what the expedited request does. It helps you get that interview scheduled much faster, ahead of the line. So, and in your situation, yes, you definitely do need that, taken care as soon as possible. Okay, thank you very much everyone for asking your questions today. If you have any follow-up questions, comments, you can just drop them in the comments below, and I will be, getting to them hopefully in the next video. Just make sure don't respond to my comment within your comment, because YouTube does not send me those notifications. Just submit them under any video as a separate comment, and I will hopefully get back to you in timely manner. So thank you very much for watching everyone. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.